Welcome to Real Talk with Raini, where we take one real life question and turn it into your next step forward. So today we have a really interesting question. So it's not a big letter like I've read in the past. This was just one question that was proposed to me by a friend, and I really had to sit on it for a little bit before I decided to tackle it in this format. So the question is, when do you know it's time to leave a relationship? Ouch! That really caught me off guard. So I had to sit on it, had to marinate on it. I'm a marinator. And I did come up with 5 questions that we need to ask ourselves when that starts forming in our head. If we start thinking about, is this the right relationship for me? Should I even be here? These are 5 questions that you can ask yourself to really get an honest answer. The very first thing before we start digging in to those 5 things is I want to say this, that if you are afraid, now I'm not saying you have trepidation about your partner's reactions. I'm not saying that you dread your partner's reactions. If you have fear of being physically harmed, or if you are being manipulated or coerced, if there are physical threats, then go no further, turn this video off, and you have already answered your own question. Yes, you need to leave. Can it be repaired? I cannot answer that, but you do need to get professional help, and there are a ton of resources out there, and I want you to do that right now before you go any further. And now, for the rest of us that are stuck in the messy middle, trying to figure out if this is where I should be for the rest of my life, then let's talk about these questions. And the first one is deep, my friend, so put on your waders and let's get busy. And there is another thing that I would like to say before we kind of dig into this a little bit, is I don't want you to think that you are going to come up with an answer in a 45-minute commute, right? I don't want you giving yourself unrealistic expectations of what you can achieve with these questions that we're asking ourselves. Because I really think that you're going to have to look at this over a period of time to really get clear answers. Because these are not only going to be questions about your partner, they are questions about your relationship, and they are questions about you and how you are showing up. What responsibility do you have in this scenario that you are in? Okay, are we ready for the very first question? I'm all gooped up with my lotion and potion. I'll get my watch back on, and here is the first question. What role am I playing in this relationship? And through that role, who am I becoming? It's a deep one. I told you were going to have to put your waders on, girl. You're going to have to get into it. You've got to wade deep into this one. I'll have a link to the worksheet so you can download it and you can really start working through these, because it's not a one and done. This is going to be a process, and you'll start hearing these questions in your head as you go through scenarios throughout your day. Okay? So let's talk about your role. What role are you playing? Do you feel like you are the mother? You are making the rules. You're nagging them until they get things done. You are trying to put all of the boundaries around everything. You are trying to do all the things. You are just setting all of the parameters, right? You are the mama in charge. Is that right? Is it wrong? You're going to have to figure that out. But it is a role that we can fall into. Are you the coach? Are you having to boost them up? Are you having to tell your partner how great they are and how much they can accomplish? And dang it, you are just the person that I always wanted you to be. Are you the cheerleader? And is that a role that you want? Or is it a role that they require? Am I the caretaker? Am I maybe not the mama, maybe not setting all the rules, but are you doing all the cleaning up afterwards? Are you doing all the caretaking? Are you doing all of that? They're all different roles. None of them are right or wrong, but you just have to determine what role are you playing. And if you determine, I'm the partner, that's my role, that's awesome. That, in my life, that's where I would want to be. But you need to start determining in different scenarios, what role are you playing in this relationship? And then the second part is, through that role, who am I becoming? Am I becoming the controller? Am I becoming the role model? Am I trying to show my partner exactly everything that I want? Am I becoming resentful, bitter, invisible? Who are you becoming through the role that you're playing inside of your relationship? This is going to take some time to work through, and different scenarios, you may have different answers. So this is going to take a little finessing on your part to kind of get it all sorted out. So it's not just as easy as I'm the spouse. That's my title. That's how I'm introduced. We play many, many other roles. And then I want you to go, after you identify that and figure out what role you're playing and who you're becoming, then I want you to ask yourself this. That individual that I'm becoming, that person, that entity, is that someone, number one, that I would be proud of? And number two, is that someone that I would want my daughter or my best friend to be as well? Because so often as women, I think we have a tendency to not see ourselves in the same light as we do those we love. And if you can step back a little bit and look at the situation that you're in and see, how would I be reacting if this was my daughter that was in this situation, or this was my friend in this situation? And that gives us a little bit different perspective. So that's just wrapping up question number one, right? This is gonna take a little bit. We're really gonna get into this, as it really will show you what the dynamics are inside of that relationship. Okay, question number 2. Is this a hard season, or is it a repeated pattern? So how would you know the difference? Would you be able to recognize the difference? So here's a scenario I'll just kind of pull out of my head. If you are feeling upset, depressed, maybe the kids have moved away, or you've lost a parent, right? You're in some period of grief and you are feeling different. The way you react to your partner is different. The way you're reacting to your friends is different. You're just different and you're having a hard season. So when you communicate with your partner and they receive it with care and compassion, then that's a hard season that you can get through. It's temporary. You've had good seasons, you've had healthy seasons, and now this is just a hard season. That is one thing. A repeated pattern would be more along the lines that if you've set a boundary and it keeps getting crossed and there's some conflict around it. So let's just say that he has a friend. We're just talking husband-wife relationship here for a second, that your husband has a friend that you don't care for. Maybe he's made a pass at you in the past, or he's just super crass. You just don't like him. You don't want to be around him. You're not comfortable, and you don't want to go to his house. But your husband keeps asking you over and over, they're having a barbecue. I really want you to go. And you've set your boundary. You said, I don't want to go there. I don't care for him. You go. He's your friend. Go have fun. I'll go do my thing, right? Like you've set your boundary. But your partner, your spouse, keeps asking you to go and create some conflict around it when you don't. Even after you've set your boundary, even after you explained why, there's still this ongoing conflict. I would say that's a repeated pattern. There are a million other scenarios that you could put to a repeated pattern, but it has to be something that you've clearly communicated your boundaries around, right? It can't just be something that you've imagined and he should know. That's not fair that he keeps doing something that he should know, right? It has to be something that you've clearly communicated. He's acknowledged that he understands the why behind what you've requested, and yet he still keeps crossing that boundary. That's repeated pattern. So you have to ask yourself, and both scenarios can be true. It can be a hard season and a repeated pattern, but you have to decide to what degree and how these things can be sorted out. This is not an easy test, my friend. This is not 5 easy questions. I never said these questions were going to be easy or simple. And in each one of these questions, you are always going to have to put a mirror up for yourself and make sure that you've met your responsibilities in this scenario as well. Okay, we are on question number 3. Now it kind of ties back to what we just talked about, setting boundaries. And once you have done that, once you have expressed what your wants or needs are, how is that request received? Is it received with care, consideration? Do you feel heard? Do you feel listened to? Is there a conversation about that? Maybe do they get curious and ask some reasons why around it? Or do you feel dismissed? Do you feel like they agree but then never fall through? Sometimes what happens is we have partners that will just say, of course, I will totally fix that. But then the change never happens. It's only in the moment to make us feel better, in the moment to make us shut up. How do they turn it all around and make you and I'm not saying that you can't be the one at fault. Everyone has to be honest about where all the parts fit in. But is that a repeated pattern? That it's turned around and everything is your fault, even when you try to have a conversation about it. I need to take this watch off because everybody keeps walking by my house and triggering my watch. It's making me crazy. So this question really helps us see what is possible. So if we're heard and there's a conversation around it, then we have some open communication and we may be able to put some pieces together. But if some of those other scenarios are true, then you're really going to have to think about, is this what I want for myself? Which brings us to question number 4. And that question is, what am I afraid would happen if I stopped playing the role that I'm currently playing? So if I stopped managing what I'm managing, doing what I'm doing, being who I'm being, if I stopped that and was just a partner, what am I afraid would happen in that scenario? And it's quite possible that your partner would step up. They would feel heard. They would feel needed. They would feel involved. But it's also true that a relationship could stop functioning if one person is the only person making things happen. So there's 2 extremes, and then there are a million degrees in between. So you really have to think about, if I stopped being who I am in this relationship, if I'm unhappy with that role, if that role is something that I said that I don't want to continue for the next 20 years, if I stop doing that today, what would happen to this relationship? And this is where we often have to start thinking about, am I managing reality? Am I managing a real connection, a real relationship? Or am I managing to create this illusion that I thought a relationship should be? You may have a perfectly healthy relationship and you are unhappy with it because it isn't living up to this dream, this vision, this illusion that you created. That's where we have to get really honest with ourselves. And that's where we have to start bringing our responsibilities in. We have to be accountable. We have to be responsible for what we bring to the party as well. And then our fifth question, and you're probably going to have to sit with this one for a while. So this one may not be a deep one that you have to wade right into, but it may be a really wide river that you're going to have to cross. And here's the question. If nothing changed, what is it going to cost me over the next year, over the next 5 years, over the next 20 years? Because I don't know about you, but if I'm in a relationship, I'm in a relationship for the long haul. I don't need a short term, a few months here, a few months there. I want a relationship for the long haul. And if you are in a relationship for the long haul and it stays exactly the way it is, what is that going to cost you over the next period of time? Whatever period of time that you are willing to look at. And we're not going to bring these dream scenarios about, oh, they could change if he loved me. No, we're not playing that game. We are just saying everything is exactly the same way. Because we cannot enter relationships, my friend, thinking that they are going to change. Could they change? Should they change? Of course. As people, as human beings, we should evolve. But they may evolve into something completely different than what your dream is, right? That illusion that we just talked about. You can't keep casting that illusion out. It has to be what's real, what's tangible, what is in front of you. What are you seeing as the truth today? And that truth, it can be a hard one. That can be a hard pill to swallow. But the question was asked, and so I'm trying to create a way that you can come up with an answer. Because your answer is going to be completely different than every other person on this planet. Only you can decide what is right for you. And then, not so much as a question, but then you need to start thinking about a plan, right? So is the plan leaving? And if the plan is leaving, then there are some steps that you need to take. If you're in a safe environment, then finances need to be taken into account. Housing needs to be taken into account. If you have kids at home, all of that needs to be addressed. I'm not saying just pack a bag and disappear. If you're in danger, yes. But if you're in a safe environment, no, you don't need to just disappear overnight. Now, could things be repaired? There's this thing called couples therapy, and it's there for a reason, because it helps people understand each other, build better communication, because we all can't do that on our own. We all have different ways of communicating, and if you don't know the best way to communicate with your partner, it can be really hard if they don't know the best way to communicate with you. That's where this disconnect starts coming in to play. And you know the love languages. That is super helpful for understanding how people like to be appreciated, right? How they receive things. It's the same for communication. We all have different communication styles. Some people want to be questioned. Some people feel like it's an inquisition if you ask too many questions. So you need to find the right communication style to have a successful relationship. And that's any relationship. That's not just a spousal relationship. That is any relationship on this planet. You have to be able to communicate. So as we wrap this up and put a big old shiny bow on the whole thing, I do want you to remember that this is not going to be resolved in this 15, 20 minutes, whatever this has taken to go through these questions. I'd like you to download the worksheet so you have it. Make notes in your phone, whatever, put it down somewhere where it's safe for you so you can really get this sorted out in your mind. And I do feel like getting it out, writing it down is really helpful because then it gets it out of your brain, right? And then you can look at it again and it's easier to discern, it's easier to sort out when you can kind of look at it that second time around. So go to the description, the show notes, whatever, grab the link, download the worksheet, start working through these questions. And if this has stirred up something for you, I just want you to know that you don't have to make a decision today. Don't make any decision when you're in an emotional spot, when you're in a panic, when you're feeling under duress. That's not the time to make a life-altering decision. Sort it out. Be reasonable, be practical. Give yourself some grace in this process. Find someone to talk to. Drop some questions in the comments below. And I really want you to think this through. If you have been asking yourself the question, is it time to leave this relationship? I hope this has been helpful, and I hope it gets you out of the messy middle. I am Resourceful Raini, and here is to fresh starts and fearless moves. I will see you next time.